Today, I want to talk about identity and the tools that you have that you can use to figure out who you are. Because chances are, Chomi, if you're anything like me, which, chances are you are, okay? You have been negatively stereotyped. A stereotype is a labeling that people put on you that is false and has a negative connotation, which is what they use to label you. For example, the ghetto girl, right? Immediately there's a negative connotation to that. Now you are this over here, you are cheeky, you're all of this. And it's a negative connotation because it does not reflect the truth of who you actually really are. On the opposite spectrum of the stereotype is the archetype. The archetype is the role that you play. For instance, if you are a mother figure, you're the matriarch. If you're a father figure, you're the patriarch. Okay? But that isn't also the true essence of who you are. That is the role that you play according to culture or society or whatever the case might be. You can also sometimes find yourself playing the role of an archetype, like the jokester, if you are, for instance, the class clown. Or you can play the archetype of the trickster, if you like to pull the wool over people's eyes. Again, that is the role you are playing. And oftentimes, that is derived from wounding, that you take on this role or this particular archetype simply because you're using that to mask how you have been wounded. So if you are the class clown, that's the stereotype, but the archetype of that would be the jokester, right? That is a mask that you wear to protect yourself from getting wounded again in the way that you were wounded in the past. So you take on that role. Again, it does not reflect the true essence of who you are. And often, again, this can be found within structures such as family structures or community structures or religious structures, whatever structure can apply to your life. That is the role that we typically play. That is the archetypal role that we take on as part of our character and that we use as a mask to protect ourselves and hide the truth of who we are. However, when you take away the role playing of the archetype and you outgrow the negative connotation of the stereotype, you begin to realize